What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Spool and Reels Fishing. Right behind me here is the 9.4 water tender. It is my small converted yacht fishing boat. And I say yacht because this thing comes completely empty. There is nothing on it when you first get these boats. So they're just a plastic hull that typically you're supposed to actually like oar with them, like use paddles, as you can see here. But we didn't do that. So what I did was I kind of converted this thing into something that is just way more practical for fishing in general, and I'm gonna get into it right now. Let's check it out. So we're first gonna start off at the back of the boat here, where we have a 40-pound thrust Minn Kota trolling motor that powers this boat, which is fed by this deep cycle marine battery, and we also have another marine battery over there. So we do run 2 marine batteries on this boat. You can really do whatever you needed or whatever you thought you would need for, depending on how long you want to stay out or how many, like, you know, electronics and stuff that you'd like to put on your boat. But for the most part, this thing moves the boat pretty well. You're not going to get anything crazy speed wise, but it keeps you going and it gets you from point A to point B, which is all we need when we want to get out there and fish. So on the back of this boat, we installed 2 rod holders. You can see one here, one on the other side. So these are perfect for, of course, holding your rods while you're fishing, while you're moving around, but also for trolling. So I put them on the back for that reason. That way, when I'm hopping from spot to spot, I cast a lure out. I've actually picked up a bunch of fish doing it that way. So literally while I'm just driving to another spot, I'm still catching fish, which is cool. So those are our 2 only rod holders. I'm gonna also jump back to the other side here, which will get us kind of into like the electronics of the boat. So here's our running light in the back. It's a collapsible light that I bought this probably off Amazon. You can get them again like in any of those boating stores that I kind of mentioned earlier. It's just an insert. I cut a hole, put it in there, ran the wire, and that's gonna go to our control panel. But this thing just literally clips right in, and then you know, you have light. So that's the back of the boat. We're gonna go and switch over to the electrical panel. So I put in an electrical panel on this boat, mainly to control, you know, of course, the electronics, but also so I have the option to easily charge my cell phone, speaker, my camera, for example. So it definitely comes in handy a lot, especially with a small boat. Like, what small boat that's under 10 feet do you know that people are just, you know, charging their phones and have all these lights rigged up and stuff? It just makes it for a really cool addition to the boat. So I definitely recommend this. There are tons of them out there. The one that I got that I'm about to show you right now, I believe I picked it up for $40 on Amazon. So it has the lighter port here, so you can plug in a bunch of different stuff. On this side has the USB. This on-off switch displays the 12-volt battery life that's remaining, and then it has the 4 switches. So I have my running lights, my spotlights, and then my fish finder hooked up, which we're about to get into in 1 second. So now onto the fish finder. This is a Garmin Striker 4. I really like this, to be honest. It's not really gonna, you know, kind of the name of, you know, I kind of interchange with fish finder, depth finder, but so it's not necessarily gonna put you onto fish. I do have fish that read on all the time. I don't know how accurate that is because, you know, it could be debris and stuff like that. But what I really use it for, and it makes it really beneficial to have, is the water temperature, the depth, and the structure. So those 3 things are key, especially with a small boat, because typically you don't have that option, right? So when I put this on here, I was able to find really deep holes, such as 16-foot catfish holes, which you may have seen in some of my other videos. And then a lot of times bass fishing, so I'll pick up a lot of structure, and I'll honestly just jig or even set back a little while and then cast into it. And I've had really good success with reading the depth finder in that way. So I definitely recommend that. So I'm jumping back on this side here. So this is a plastic hull that is pretty lightweight, but on the inside it has a lot of styrofoam, which is kind of like molded to the you know, structure of the boat or whatever. So what I did was I just cut out the plastic here, and then I hollowed out the styrofoam that's in there. And this is just one of those bucket live wells that you can pick up at Walmart or whatever, Cabela's. And then it has the aerator pump on the side with the hose that goes inside that keeps your fish alive. And the reason why I showed that is because I was having issues with my live well when it was spilling over or splashing around or sliding when, say, another boat came by and caused a big wake, or somebody steps in the boat or kind of moves erratically to maybe go grab a fishing rod that is about to go over because there's a fish hooked onto it. So putting that into the hull like that was a game changer for me. That way I don't have to worry about it. I know it's locked in there, it's full of water. It's one less thing I have to think about. So if you can't build it into your boat, I definitely would recommend strapping it down to something if you can. So for example, if you have like a John boat, like an aluminum flat bottom, you're not necessarily going to be cutting holes into it, but if you can bungee and stuff like this battery, you can see I have it bungeed in, so something similar to that would be perfect for the live well. So next we're going to talk about the cleats that we put on here. So this one holds a 15-pound anchor. It has about 100 feet or so of anchor line. That's kind of excessive. I use maybe like a quarter of that. So if you are looking for, to put an anchor on your small boat, probably don't need that much line, but it never hurts. I might be able to use it for something down the line. So I'm going to jump back over to the other side here. We have another cleat that is just like our docking line. So this has nothing on it. I just simply use that to, when I put the boat in the water, anchor it up to not anchor, but dock it up to the floating dock there. That way I don't lose my boat when I go back to get my gear, or so it doesn't float off and hit another boat, so I wouldn't want to have to deal with that headache. So it's nice to have those cleats put on, because before that I had no way to stop the boat from floating around, right? So definitely would recommend getting that added on. I'm going to briefly go into some of the wiring and how it works on this boat, because you guys know I have the lights out in the back, lights up front, which I can quick show you. So we have one spotlight here, the running light that's required at night, and then another spotlight. So you can see some of these wires are on the outside of the hull, they're just held on by these clips here. And then I also have some that go inside the hull, which I had to drill holes so I could tie it back to that electrical panel. So off this panel here that we were talking about with the switches, there is just kind of almost like hooking up your trawl motor. You have a positive and a negative. So I did the same thing here. So I just hook up to this battery, positive, negative, and that gives my electrical panel, the electricity it needs to turn on and to control all my switches. I drilled holes in the side of the hull here, so these go in there and tie into the switches. Then on the back side, another hole I drilled through to run back to the light in the back. So as you guys can see, this boat is sitting on a trailer. This trailer does work perfectly fine. There's no issues with it mechanically, but the thing is, there isn't the proper paperwork on it. So when I use it, I run the risk of potentially getting pulled over. I've been lucky enough that I haven't got pulled over, and I actually don't use it anymore. And that's kind of my point of where I'm getting this. So a small boat such as this one, you get to pretty much pick this up and throw it in the bed of your truck. So this will actually fit with my tailgate down and just 2 ratchet straps. So I actually don't have to worry about the hassle of getting pulled over if I don't have the paperwork for the trailer, which in this case I don't. But then also I don't have to register, I don't have to insure it, I don't have to get plates for it, and nobody's gonna bother me when I'm pretty much just cruising down the road and I'm getting ready to fish. I want to quick show you guys the hull design. So this is a tri-hull boat. So although it's less than 10 feet, it has the tri-hull design, which that is so important if you're looking for stability in a small boat. So I've had boats that were actually bigger than this, 12-foot John boats, the flat bottom aluminum, and they were so tippy because they weren't very wide. So it was longer, but in this case, wider is so much better. So this is almost 5 feet wide, and I can stand up pretty much wherever I want to in this boat. I can jump off, swim, and climb back on. Like I couldn't climb back on easily in my 12-foot John boat that I had. So definitely the tri-hull design is a game changer if you're looking for that stability. That wraps up my video today, guys, of breaking down the water tender. My real goal of this video was to just show you guys that the capabilities pretty much of a small boat and what it has to offer if you put a little bit of time and thought and a little bit of elbow grease, tiny little bit of money, and you can make something that's really cool and really suitable to your needs. So again, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a boat when you can take something like this and make it into the exact fishing vessel that you desire. So again, thanks guys so much. I hope this motivated you in some sort of way. If you have any questions of how we did anything, drop it in the comments below. I'd be more than willing to help you guys out. So again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.